I had determined not to make any further videos about Barclays, but I was just reading a report on the BBC this afternoon, about an hour ago, and I'm astonished at what it actually says. I'm going to read what it says. I'll read a good paragraph if you don't mind. The bank said delayed payments had been processed, but that it was still addressing any outstanding issues following days of disruption. On Friday, when the outage began, customers told the BBC they were having trouble with mobile and online banking and also making essential payments. The technical issues were not caused by a cyber attack, it's understood, but the bank has not explained what was behind the problem or how many customers were affected. And here's a relevant quote. "We are very sorry for any disruption that will ensure that no impacted customer is left out of pocket," a Barclays spokesperson said on Sunday. "We are keeping our call centres open for longer this weekend, and we will be proactively contacting customers who may be vulnerable." Now, that is quite evidently a lie, and I want to call it out. I called Barclays yesterday afternoon when a payment for a debit card didn't go through, and because I thought the problem wasn't relating to debit cards, and anyway, you know, I was surprised to have been kept on the phone for a good 5 minutes, going round and round in circles, to eventually get to a recorded message saying that the phone was only staffed between Monday and Friday, and I should call back on Monday. So the idea that a call centre, the idea that the telephone helpline or the telephone centre, the thing for calling, is open through the weekend is complete hogswash. And I'm surprised that the BBC hadn't done its homework and hadn't established that, and allows an organisation like Barclays Bank to get away with such deceit, which, quite frankly, is very difficult to check with hindsight. But I'm sure there's plenty of people who have told the BBC that they called the helplines and got no response. And I find it extraordinary that the BBC records this rubbish, this level of duplicity. So I think it's important to call out Barclays for lying and to call out the BBC for indulging that lie. There has to come a point where proper journalism involves the truth and involves asking the right questions and being prepared to ask the right questions at the right time. And if the BBC is to continue to be our national television news source, then it needs to do its job properly. And certainly if it's supposed to be funded by a tailor-made tax, the BBC licence fee, then it ought to be doing its job properly. And this desultory, lacklustre and shameful piece of reporting is not something that I expected to see on a Sunday afternoon after so many people have suffered so much because of the arrogance of one particular bank. I've said before, a bank's job is to be reliable. If a bank cannot be reliable, then it should close. But we're getting to a point where there are no reliable banks in the UK. We're getting to a point where service has become control. And that isn't a good position to be in.